Hey everyone, this is Sin and welcome back to my channel, Stampin' Munchkins. Today I'll be making this card, which you see on the screen, and it's another inspiration team project for Brutus Monroe. Let's go! Here's the products used. Super Sentimental stamp set. Forget what this is called, but everything will be listed below. Aqua pigment paper cardstock. White embossing ink, alabaster white embossing powder, a bunch of aqua pigment watercolor, red, orange. Again, everything will be listed below, so please use my affiliate links. Yellow, green, and I'm showing it on the swatch too, blue and violet. And let's get stamping. So I am going to be using all the thank yous in this stamp set for my background. And I'm going to be just stamping it using my MISTI. I'm fussing with it a little bit because I want it to go off. So I'm moving it around. And just placing the stamp images where I want it to go. I'm basically making my own background paper. And I am embossing it because I want it to, I will be using distress ink to color the background. So I'm using the alabaster white embossing ink pad and alabaster white embossing powder. So as you can see here, I am going to be inking it up. And I'll do that a few times because this cardstock is watercolor and it is super textured. Sorry, I'm not going to be using distress ink. I'll be using my aqua pigments for the background. I'll be making a rainbow background. So I wanted to show you the versatility of just using a sentiment stamp set. So I'm just going to be doing that for the whole background. Same thing over and over. If you get a chance, please click the like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. That helps me out as a small channel immensely. So I'm putting the embossing powder on, making sure that it's on good, and I am heating it up every time. So the edges, I'm going to hand stamp it, but I always use my MISTI as it has that foam, so I get very good images. So this was it doesn't always work really well because of the texture, so I should have used the MISTI, but it still worked out fine. And I'm always using a powder tool so that the powder doesn't stick to the non-inked place. So I'm using the small thank you for the small areas that are open, and using the same embossing powder and just putting it on. And again, I do heat it up every time because I don't want to smudge it. And I will do that, clumsy. So I did it off screen. I heat it off screen. I'm using a Swiffer cloth to get all the extra powder off, and now I'm going to be doing my rainbow background, and you can see that it resists wherever the embossing images, it will resist. So I'm just going to be doing this for the entire background, red, orange, and the color is also on the screen. I like to wet the paper cardstock first so that it moves nicely, and I'm just going back and forth, and it's so nicely saturated. Here's the green, the previous was just yellow, and I'm just using my like a square flat brush, I guess, because it doesn't have to be precise. I'm just making a rainbow background. This is blue, And it's such a pretty, these aqua pigments are so pigmented, like one swipe will do you. And this is violet. This was a little light, so I just went, I did it twice, but it still turned out exactly how I envisioned it in my mind. So I'm going back to blend each color with just a wet brush, and I will let that dry, clean up my mess on my surface, and I'm going to let that dry. But I'm going to help it along using my heat gun in the first setting, which is just a low blow, and this is a dry cloth to get rid of all the color on top of the embossing powder. And you can see how saturated that cardstock gets, but it is it really takes a lot of water. So I used a die cut thank you, which I had in my stash, and I offset it with white, a few layers of white cardstock and the black cardstock so that it will stand out in the busy background. And this is it, my mini slimline. And this is how I craft, guys. Ollie is sleeping right by where I stand. So this is a little crooked because he was right there and I couldn't get a good look at it. But now I'll be adding some jewels. Use whatever jewels you have. This is Pink Fresh jewels that I like to use. And I just got a rainbow selection, which sort of matches the colors that I have. And I'm using glossy accents as it's clear, so the shine of the jewels will come through. And this is the card. But I really wanted to show you, like, 8 out of 10 times I craft with Ollie underfoot. But he just loves to stay in the craft room with me. They all do, but he thinks he's little and he's not. He's over 100 pounds. But I love them so much. So here's the finished card. I hope you enjoyed it. Please go to my Instagram and you will see a Christmas version of it using the new release of the seasonal sentiment. Here's another video you might enjoy and a card making playlist. And as always, click on my face to subscribe. Thanks everyone. Aloha.